And also on the rise, the price of oil and gas. Brent trading, you can take a look, they're up 7.34% per barrel, while WTI also up almost 8%. Benchmark wholesale natural gas prices continuing their sharp uptick. Participants are scrambling to price in the loss of supplies from Qatar, given the halt in LNG production. LNG buyers in Asia account for more than 80% of shipments from Qatar, the world's second largest producer after the United States. Taiwan turning to buy more from the US, while Japan could tap the spot market. The world's number 4 LNG buyer, India, rationing the supply of natural gas to industries. Economies most at risk are those heavily dependent on energy imports from the Middle East, such as China and India. Well, let's discuss the Indian situation with Rebecca Bundhun live from Mumbai. Rebecca, we just heard how India is taking moves now with that cut from LNG from Qatar. What space has it got to diversify its oil and energy sources?
We have to remember that India depends on imports for most of its oil and gas needs, and more than half of those crude oil imports are actually coming from the Middle East. So this is a situation where the country would need to diversify just to manage that risk of an extended impact in terms of those supplies coming in. And analysts are saying that one potential option could be getting more supplies from Russia. Now, over the past few years, India had been importing a lot of oil from Russia at cheaper rates, but then in the past few months, it had actually been trying to scale back on those imports because of pressure from Washington. So although that is a possibility, analysts are saying, there hasn't been anything official on that. And there would be the question of what that means in terms of US and India trade relations and the tariff situation. There has been this report from Reuters as well that Indian companies are already reducing their supplies of natural gas to industries because of Qatar halting that LNG production. So again, there's an impact there, and there would be a need for some kind of diversification to replace those supplies. But again, that's a challenge in terms of how quickly that can be done, the price, and also the shipping route as well. So India's Ministry of Natural Gas and Oil has been saying that it's constantly monitoring the situation. It will take steps to ensure the affordability and availability of energy. It needs to meet the needs of a population of more than 1.4 billion people. But this is a difficult situation with very real risks.
Well, it's difficult not just for the shipping of energy. Airport closures in the Gulf with strikes and counter-strikes from Iran, Israel and the United States. How has India's airline industry suffered so far from those closures in the Gulf?
There have been hundreds of flights that have been cancelled by Indian airlines, including Air India, Indigo, SpiceJet, because of the Iran conflict and airspace closure. The Gulf is a very important market in terms of, for example, Air India flying through the Gulf region, using it as a transit point to reach other parts of the world. It's heavily dependent on passengers from there. So this is a very severe, major impact for airlines in India. And of course, we have to remember that there are thousands of people stranded as well. There have been some relief flights that have been operating from India by Air India and Indigo to try to get some people back from the Gulf region who need to get back home. There are more than 9 million or almost 10 million people, Indians, who are living in the Gulf region, working there, living there, and of course also the impact on tourists as well, who have been affected by this. But this is a massive impact for airlines as this situation continues.
Well, thanks, Rebecca Bundhun there joining us from Mumbai, covering this story for CNA.